Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video documenting a startup. I kind of just I had an itch to like start a new challenge kind of because I find when you have something like, yeah, building something is one thing to stick to, but like when you have kind of more smaller term habits or challenges that you want to do, it like kind of helps with keeping you motivated in other areas of your life. At least that's just what I found. So I started to wrote down a couple things that I want to start doing every single day. Cardio every day. And then this is the new challenge that I'm going to start, 1 book per week, because I have so many books that sometimes I've read some of these, but like, or most of them, I guess, but there'd be some, like all these with bookmarks, like I read or started reading, but then either got bored and stopped finishing them or stopped reading them and then just went on to something else. But like, they're all books I want to read. So I thought, like I kind of want to get back into the habit of reading. So I want to just say, and it's something like I could do 10 pages a day, but like I wanted to do something a little harder than that and just do 1 book per week. And a lot of people do that. I don't think it's really, like, I honestly wouldn't recommend doing 1 book per week because it's almost like so much information that like I don't even know if you'd have much benefit from doing that. But I think for me, it's more so just to like challenge myself to do something new. And then a plus is, yeah, I'll get to read a lot more books, but we'll see how it goes. I know like when I read, like there's a limit of like how much I can read before I stop I just kind of lose focus and I can't really retain anything, which will probably happen a lot because I'll probably have to read like 30 pages per day for some books. But I think like, for example, this book I wanted to read, this is like 700 pages. If I do read this, I'm going to do it like 2 weeks because that's insane. Doing 700 pages in a week, that's nuts. But all these other books are pretty like around the same length. So I'll stick to like 1 per week. And then this I'm already kind of sticking with, gym 4 times a week. There's 4 days of the week where I usually wake up around 5 every day anyways, but wake up a little earlier at 4:30 for the gym days and then get that in early like right away, which really helps. If you're having trouble sticking to the gym or anything for that matter, I find dedicating specific days, like usually whenever I'd work out, I would try to work out certain times a week, but I wouldn't have I'd have a routine to follow that I knew after I do arm or after I do chest, I do like back, right? Like that kind of routine, but I didn't have like the days specified of what I'm doing. So I have it set up now that every Wednesday is legs. Like, so each day, sometimes when I'm busy, I'll move things around, but for the majority of the time, Monday is a gym day, Wednesday's always legs, Friday and then Saturday are the gym days. But just having the days set out to like, okay, if it's Wednesday today, I'm doing legs. If it's Monday, I'm doing whatever. It just helps. It makes it so much easier to stick to because it's literally a designated day for it. And you can do that with anything. Like anything you want to stick to, just make sure you have it's so much easier when it's a concrete set in stone day to follow it. Then of course, 1 video a week and then journal daily. And with the videos, 1 video per week, like I've noticed I'm starting to think too much into the videos now, and like it's almost like my whole goal with all these videos is to keep it authentic as possible, and I feel like now I'm getting kind of too fixated on making the videos as like clickable and like I don't know, I feel like I'm thinking too much about it now, which is, I said in one of my first videos I didn't want to do that because it loses its like raw like feel, right? Like the whole reason I'm doing these is to look back on it later, and then if people resonate on it and it inspires people, then like that's great too. But I think the moment I start thinking too deep into like creating like a plot of the video and making sure and caring about engagement, it's like it just takes away from the whole like raw and authentic part, because I might be doing things that I wouldn't have normally done if I wasn't thinking about that. And it also makes just like making videos a lot more difficult. And it just like I might leave things out because I might not think it's interesting, but it's like I should just be recording things of like what's actually happening, what I'm actually doing. Like I shouldn't be going out of my way to do things just to make the video entertaining, And I think I am skipping over a lot of things, not necessarily skipping over a lot of things, but just not including things that I do normally do because I'm like, oh well, it's not that entertaining. But I think a lot of people in a similar stage would resonate with it because they'll be doing something very similar. And even just things as simple as like showing like journaling, showing reading, like just kind of things that I'm actually doing. I think I want to start getting back into, or at least showing more of kind of the real stuff of what I do. And it sucks because yeah, every day is kind of similar, but that's the whole point, right? Like I understand there's like, you know, you want to make the videos as entertaining as possible, but when it is just when you're just documenting things, it's hard to kind of, after a certain amount of days, it's hard to kind of keep things different when it's a short time. Like when you look back over months, it'll be different, but the day to day, nothing really changes a whole lot. So yeah. And then some goals by the new year. I just have 15 paying users and then reach 5K subs, which might be possible. I'm not 100% sure, but that's just kind of the goal for the new year. So we just released the paid plans yesterday. I sent out an email to everybody, just announcing, like, I know like it's not really in a state for paid plans. I just wanted to get it out there and have the infrastructure there so that we can build on top of it. Like I wasn't expecting anyone really to sign up for it because like I said, like there's not really a whole lot of benefits other than new limits. It's basically just a way to support the app at this point. So we did get one person to he bought the yearly one, which was awesome to see. I think like it's just small things like that, like it just motivates you to want to put more effort into it, and like just kind of seeing those kind of small wins like that, it's like it's a good feeling. Anyways, I'm about to go eat quickly right now, and then I'm gonna get some work in before I have to start the job, and then hopefully I can pick this back up later tonight too. Okay, take number 4, because whenever I start talking, I start rambling and it stops making sense. But just kind of finished the afternoon of work. It's just after 2:30 right now, so still have a little bit more work to do after this for the job, and then get into the fun stuff after that. But anyways, something that I was just kind of finding interesting is I saw on YouTube a couple weeks ago that all these videos would pop up about like, oh, I sold my company for millions and now I'm depressed, and like, oh, I'm a millionaire and I'm sad and all this, right? And like obviously those titles are just to get you to click. Like that's the main purpose of those titles, are get you to click. And like people will be hating on it, like, oh wow, yeah, you're a millionaire and you're sad, cry in your river. But it's like that's the worst mindset you can approach that with. Because if you just listen to and get the point across in the video, yeah, sure, they're successful and they're sad and they shouldn't be complaining, but they make it clear that they're just talking about their experience. And I just find it really interesting though how you can achieve what you want and you still won't feel satisfied, which is kind of crazy if you think about it, because I wonder now if they would even still pursue the things that they did, knowing how they were going to feel afterwards, right? And I think it's even the same, like I might have even talked about this before, but when you get like a new phone or a new iPad, like yeah, that's on such a small scale, but when you do get those things, you feel better or happy for like a bit, and then it wears off, then you just feel normal again. And like, yeah, that is on a small scale, but I don't doubt that it's the exact same as if you did get all the goals that you wanted to achieve. So it just really makes you wonder what the point of it all is. And like, not to say that in a demotivating way, because at the end of the day, I find when you don't have a purpose of chasing something, at least I just feel like complete garbage. Like there's just no sense of direction. Confidence is low. Nothing is fun. Like small things aren't fun. Like I just feel overall trash. And I've noticed that in every time where I've had kind of like a transition period, or if I didn't know what I was focusing on next, like it's all the same. Everything comes crashing down. But right when you have that kind of goal set in mind and you're kind of really focused on achieving something and you're like really dedicated to do it, it's like everything else just aligns in your life. Your confidence increases, your happiness increases, you're stressed, but you're less stressed because it's a good stress, right? Like it's a fun stress. But I think if you are in a rut or if you're feeling stuck, I think the best thing to do is, because it's hard to find your purpose, right? Or find like something you're really passionate about. It's really rare to find that instantly. I think, and what I've done and what I still do to this day is whenever I'm kind of feeling like those low points or just feeling stuck, it's like, yeah, just creating a challenge for yourself that's not too hard that you won't do it, but hard enough that it's like, okay, I'm actually going to have to really focus on this. It almost forces you to have that as your mini purpose. And then that just gets the momentum going. And then if you can use that to spark the momentum like you have to use that to your advantage to then move on to something else. I think if I wanted to do something software related and I needed the momentum, I would 100% start YouTube. I would do a 7-day coding challenge, 7 or 14 day coding challenge where you're just building a startup in like 7-14 days, and I would document the whole process. Or I would just do daily videos and just commit to something, and then having a goal for, say, the next month, 2 months, doing daily videos, and just having that kind of goal to get the ball rolling. You'll start feeling good in other areas of your life, and then you can start kind of applying that to what you actually want to do. And it can even help you like kind of understand what you want to do later, right? But then you also have to keep it in mind that whatever your purpose is, it's never for the end goal. And it's almost hard to believe that when you do achieve your goals, you'll still feel the exact same. Like I almost don't want to believe that, but like I know for a fact that that's what's going to happen. But that's why it's so important that like if you don't enjoy the process of something, there's no point of even doing it, because when you get to the end goal, it's not going to be what you thought it would have been. And the whole reason you should have a purpose is to enjoy the whole process, because then it's just going to be temporary. If you achieve the goal, you don't achieve the goal, then it's like you want to enjoy that process as much as possible, because that then becomes the purpose, and that can never end or begin, because it's always in motion. Like if it's just the process, like, and it never ends, like you'll always be in that kind of state of feeling accomplished, feeling confident, like, and all this kind of thing, right? And that was one of the reasons why I stopped the web design agency, because it was just like I was doing it for an end goal, and like I didn't enjoy the process. And then it catches up to you, and you realize, okay, I don't actually really like this. And then it's not until you find something that you genuinely enjoy the process of that you realize not only is it easier to do the work on it, and you can spend countless hours doing it with not as much stress, it's also just more fun. And you know that no matter what, it's just the whole process of it you just genuinely enjoy. So then you just have the most fun doing that, and you're not worried about any goal. You're detached from the outcome, right? And it's just about enjoying the present as much as you can. And yeah, and I think that's why I don't get the fulfillment from working a job, right? Because it just doesn't do it for me. And even retirement, like I've always said this as a kid that I don't want to retire. I think retirement is honestly the biggest scam of modern society. Like I think a lot of people will disagree with me on that, but just the fact to donate 65 years of your life doing unfulfilling work to then finally at the ripe age of 65 to be able to retire and then quote unquote live your life. I don't know. I think you should be chasing something you don't need to retire from. Of course, at the end of the day, every job on paper becomes a job, but if it's something you're genuinely passionate about and you're building something meaningful, you shouldn't have to retire from that. And it's funny that everyone who says that every job becomes a job is somebody who's just working a job they hate. So I don't know. I think at the end of the day, just keep striving towards something you're genuinely fulfilled by, and don't settle for anything less than that, because I for sure as hell will not be. Anyways, I honestly, it's like 3 p.m. That filming took like over 30 minutes. I was here since 2, so it took like an hour to do all that filming. But I don't know. I guess I'm gonna try to work for a little bit longer if I can. But this week, as far as updates go, won't be super entertaining because it's just the Google integration that I'm mainly working on. Maybe I'll try to add some of the library tab in too to show you some Figma updates and everything. But other than that, there's not going to be much visual, because even if I finish the Google Calendar integration, there's not really much to show other than saying, okay, it works. So I don't know. I'll if anything comes up, I'll update you guys. But if not, yeah, see you guys in the next clip anyways. Okay, so I ended up actually getting the Google events to show up. So what you can do now is in preferences, there's a button. I don't know if I showed this yet or not, but you click connect, takes you to the Google login or the auth screen, then it verifies it, redirects you back here. Then when you're on the calendar, right now all I have is that it pulls the events in. You can't do anything with them yet, but it's also 2021, so it's showing very old events. So I have to figure out a couple things. I have to figure out if I should even store the events or not, and if I do, I'm gonna have to either do a time frame so I'm not querying like years worth of events, like only within whatever the user's seeing. I don't really know how I want to handle that, but maybe I'll do, yeah, I'm not sure. But then I also need to handle refresh tokens, which I think is just, it's gonna check if it's valid. If it's not valid, then it's gonna call another edge function that just gets you a new access token with the refresh token, I think. And then if that's set up and the fetching's set up properly, I have to do probably some more converting to like give it some colors, default colors for Google Calendar. And then I have to look into seeing how hard it's gonna be to move the events and update it on Google Calendar as well, if that's even possible. I'm sure it is because you have full access, but I don't know. Almost 8:30 right now, so just gonna, that's it for today. Gonna go to sleep. Gotta wake up at like 4:30 tomorrow for a nice leg day, so yeah, hopefully I can get this moving a little bit more tomorrow. But I also want to start doing more of the library tab tomorrow as well, so we'll see. All right. Oh, that sounds brutal. So just finished up kind of the morning. It's kind of nice to take it slow with like do the gym early, do the journaling, reading, and then I usually spend 30 minutes or so just to kind of relax before starting to work. But yeah, anyways, we're in the workroom now, going to hopefully get a solid day's work done today. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. I want later, for sure, I want to really get a good chunk of that Google Calendar integration going. I was kind of considering doing like more than one feature at once. I shouldn't do that, but like part of me wants to because I'm not really looking forward to the Google Calendar thing that much, and it probably will take a little bit of work. So ideally it would be nice to get that done this, like, by the end of this weekend, but we'll have to see how complicated it gets. I think it's doable though, because even tonight I can probably get a lot done. So, and I also just got this thing off Amazon today. Ordered it yesterday, came today. Just for some motivation. Doors open, wheels turn. It's gonna be crazy. This video, you're seeing this now, that it's this little model car, but one of these days, it's gonna be right there. Like it'll be backed in. It'll be right there in the driveway. Just like that. I kind of just got it to have it to just on the shelf. And it will be nice to kind of have that as if I'll always have that in my room now. So every time I'm like, oh, like I'm not feeling like working, like I can just look at that and be like, you know what, maybe I should. So yeah, anyways, let's get this workday started. Okay, so I've come to a realization that I should have came to a while ago. But basically I was just doing some brainstorming this morning because I kind of felt like a little bit off with, like, I kind of feel all over the place with what features I want to create. And even in the videos, you can tell that, right? Like, I'm not 100% sure what I want to work on. So I was just looking more into when you should know when to pivot and everything. And I think my problem is like, I'm trying to cover a whole lot of areas without really focusing on, like, the one core value proposition. Like, what's the one thing that the app can do better than any other app? And I was kind of basing that originally off of, well, since like there's never been an app for all for students, that eventually it would just become the better app for students because of all the features that like kind of includes everything all in one. But like that's a bad way to look at it, because then that's why I feel like I have to be so patient, because then if I keep that as my core value prop, the only way I'll be able to get to that end goal is by just keep on pumping it full of features, which I shouldn't have to do that. There should be like a small value prop that I can kind of focus on initially, which comes back to the whole MVP thing, which is why I should have known this earlier. But to have kind of that main core value prop early on, that then you can build off from that. And I feel like now I'm kind of all over the place. I think RemNote does flashcards, like that's kind of their main thing. Notion is kind of note taking, but it's kind of more of like an all-in-one, like a more general tool. But like for me, I feel like I haven't really even thought about that. I've been kind of just making it catered to students without really thinking about, okay, what's the 1 or 2 things that I should really wrap or at least start the core kind of features to be. And what I've kind of boiled it down to now is to just focus on making it the best app for students to like take notes, manage their courses, don't miss deadlines, and then incorporate just summarization with that too. And I think that as a starting point, like, is kind of a good pain point to start with. And then from there, I can kind of finish, like, just keep adding more features from there. Because right now, like, the note taking, I feel like I've left a lot of things incomplete or like in a draft state, like where I should have honed in my focus on a few features. Like, I'm afraid I'm gonna get too far down the line and like have a bunch of features that aren't 100% done and just like a bunch of like good but not great. And that's what happens with all these all-in-one tools, right? So I think if I can focus on note-taking, making note-taking as good as possible, and then the whole kind of managing like dates and assignments and tasks and all that, and kind of having that as a top focus too. And then also like kind of making just a whole, like all those AI summarization things. Like I think some of them don't work that well, the ones that are out now, but just having them incorporated in your workflow, I think will be huge. Like transforming notes into summaries, like quizzes, your readings into summaries, readings into like having them read to you, right? Like that kind of thing. I think focusing on that, and this might change the more I think about it. I just kind of thought about it today, but if I can kind of have that as the focus and really nail that down first and make those really solid, then I should be looking to improve other areas. Because I think what I'm finding with retention, and even though I don't want to really put too much emphasis on retention right now, I think what people are finding is they come in, like it's clearly not solving a big enough pain point right now as is. And I think if I can kind of focus on 1 or 2 pain points and do a really good job at that, just as the starting point, then you can build from there instead of, like I said, adding all these half-assed kind of somewhat finished features, which at the end of the day, like if there's no core pain point that it's solving, there's no point to just keep adding like features. It's going to convolute the app, right? So yeah, it's something to think about. Something I honestly didn't really think about is when you're dealing with an app, like of course you want to have it solve and do one thing really well, and then you can branch off from there. But I think my whole process or problem with that was I was just thinking that since it was a student app, like, okay, it's just going to do everything that students want in one. But I think I do need to peel it back a layer and really focus on like it's still the alpha stage, right? It's still very early. So like I can't be too mad about it or mad at myself for it. But now I think I can just kind of make the beta about making kind of 2 or 3 main core features and then building around that instead of, like I said, I feel like I'm repeating myself now, but yeah. So if you're in a similar situation, make sure that if you are creating an app, that you kind of have 1 or 2 kind of main overall things that you have in your app that are going to be better than any other app out there. And then after that, you can kind of incorporate a whole lot of other things as well. So just to give you kind of an outline of what I kind of rewrote, just some notes about what I wanted to include with that kind of new value prop in mind. So I want to completely nail down the note-taking ability. Like I want to make that super smooth, because that's like should be number 1 priority, honestly. Like that should have been way back. But anyways, so math equation support, which is huge. Code blocks already done. Note sharing, linking notes between notes so you can make relationships between multiple notes if you want. Moved notes between courses, images file, audio files, like all these things that I think are going to be huge for just the note-taking ability. Wrap that up. That's going to be priority 1, honestly. Priority 2, reminders, notifications for deadlines and custom reminders. Like that, honestly, should have been higher on the priority list too as well, because that's kind of what keeps you kind of on track and everything. And then AI summarization, summarize notes, all this kind of thing. Just a global search, just make sure you can find everything. Like I want to make it like a great way to organize everything, right? And then after this kind of baseline's done, then you can go into the more like LMS integrations. I'm still going to do the Google Calendar integration, but then you can go into the more task management stuff with like the generating the tasks for the day based on your workload. Like all of those things are great, but I feel like it's just going to be, you may as well add them on later once you have a core base. So yeah, that's what I'm going to put my focus onto moving forward now, I think. And like I said, it might change a bit, but at least now I kind of feel like I have more of a clear head when it comes to that now. So, which kind of helps a little bit. But anyways, this video is already upwards. Probably it's almost 30 minutes now probably, but I just gonna end it there because I have to, like, I don't know how much more I'm gonna get done. If I have more to update on the Google integration, I'll add it after this clip. But if not, that's probably about it. Next week I should kind of get more into the note-taking stuff because that's, like I said, that's gonna be my next priority. So I feel like it's been all over the place, but that's what I've been struggling with, right? Because I haven't been able to find a good kind of aim to go forward towards. So anyways, I appreciate you guys for watching if you made it this far, and yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys next week.